Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is the first YouTube video that we're preparing before a game week, and especially for a game week in FPL. We've missed you all, and I hope you have missed us too. Uh, so we are going to get right into it. Well, the agenda for today is that we are going to do a small preview of Game Week 11, which is coming up. And at the time of recording, the Game Week 11 deadline is about 24 hours, more than 24 hours away. So let's get right into it. First, before brief introductions, I am Atman. You have Yash over here, and you have Ashwant here in the Chelsea jersey. So before we get jump into Game Week 11, let's do a review of Game Week 10. Ashwant Ramesh, Sir Ashwant Ramesh, manager of the week, 62 points in game week 10, a very low scoring game week, and yet you had 62 points. Buddy, I was looking at your team, and I am honestly shocked by how consistent the performance was. You literally had only 4 players that blanked in your starting 11, plus you had Ben White on the bench who got a clean sheet. So just tell me one little thing. How did you really come up with this entire team? Because you've been consistent throughout. How have you actually set up this team? What is your process?
See, it's actually pretty simple. I mean, last season I used to be the differential guy. I kept chasing halls, but this time I just decided to keep it clean. Every time I watch a game, I just see who's playing well, who's not. Just the eye test. I really don't look at the stats anymore. And I think one of my best moves this season itself, I think, was bringing money in, because Liverpool right now, I believe they are the best attack in all of Europe. And obviously everybody's got Perma captain Mo Salah right now. So there's no doubt regarding who's going to be captain. So I wanted to double up on their attack. If it's not Salah who's scoring, it'll always be Mane. So I thought better place to invest when Ronaldo's misfiring, Lukaku's injured, Vardy's up and down. So I thought that's probably the best place to spend the second premium, and I went there. And after that, it's just been about putting one fire a week and not taking too many hits. And yeah, I just got lucky. I can't really take too much credit for that now.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Somebody else over here who's lacking a bit of luck though. Yash Agarwal, Conor Gallagher on the bench, 13 points on the bench. I think you would have beaten Ashwin to manager of the week if you had Gallagher.
Easily.
Easily, yeah.
I think I started off this season extremely well. I mean, in our own league, I was in the top 3, I think, at the start for the first few game weeks. And then I think it's just been like a downhill since then, right? Because I've adopted what Ashwan did last year, I think, right? I've gone for differential players this season. And that's what I've been trying to do. So, I mean, my strikers have been like, Jimenez, who's not been actually firing, been only scoring points in the last 2 game weeks. I have Wilson who's probably going to get a goal even if Newcastle's going to lose, but he's damn cheap. And Antonio, I mean, I was just reading an article on buy or sell Antonio. So it's just a turmoil for me, and it's unlucky, but I'm going to come back soon. There's lots to go. So let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
Elite mentality.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, however Yash finishes this season, it's still an improvement because he started with game week 1. So kudos to that.
Oh yeah, last game week, first 2 game weeks you didn't even play, right?
First 3 I missed.
First 3 game weeks. Yeah. Crazy. All right, amazing. So my team, to be honest, I have no tactics, nothing. It's just vibes. I got exactly. I'm trusting the process. I'm trusting the process over here. I got like 35. My points tally was so shit, I don't even remember it. But I know I was somewhere in the 30s. I think it was 35 or so. I have so many players that blank.
I don't think I scrolled down enough to see where Atman stands, so I don't know what position he is.
Yeah. If you go to the other league, which is common between all of us, I'm still 9. Okay. In the Super League, I'm 19. I admit it. I'm nearly out of the top 20 again.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't think anybody's had such a volatile season as me. I started off out to the top 20, then I got near to the top 10, and now I'm back to 19. So
Hmm.
yeah, amazing game week for me. I have a lot to sell, a lot of players to sell. I might take a hit, but yes. So review done for the previous game week. Now, before we start off on the game week 11, just some quick updates on the injuries and suspensions. First and foremost, and the biggest news coming this week: Antonio Conte, the former Chelsea manager who won the Premier League with Chelsea, is now the manager of Tottenham Hotspur. So he is officially on the path to complete a ruinous winning record for sure. So, but we have a former Chelsea fan. Sorry, we have a Chelsea fan over here. So, Mr. Ashwant, please let us know, as FPL managers, what should we expect from the new look Spurs of Antonio Conte?
First of all, as a Chelsea fan, you would never want to appreciate Spurs, but seriously, this is a massive coup by Spurs. So because you have, I think right now you have four of the top five managers in the world in the Premier League. You have your Klopp, you have your Conte, you have your Tuchel, and your Pep. So if Conte, a serial winner who's won the league 6 out of 8 times he's ever tried for it, if he cannot help Spurs to win a title, then Spurs is definitely cursed. There's a lot to expect from this, what to say, from this appointment. I feel, and I quickly did think about how Spurs could line up. Obviously, Conte is gonna go with his 3-4-3 or a 3-5-2, and interestingly enough, Spurs look like they've been molded into this. I mean, the only position I think that they're lacking is a playmaking centre back who plays in the centre, who can spray out those passes like how he did at Inter. But if you look at almost every other position, you've got like Sergio Reguilon and Emerson Royal on your left wing back and right wing back respectively.
Yeah,
Both are known for their offensive contributions more than their defensive one. And they have a great midfield three, which could be Ndombele, Højbjerg, and Lo Celso. Or
right.
Dele Alli, but I think it's going to be Lo Celso. And it's like a carbon copy of Lukaku and Lautaro Martinez is Kane and Son. So Tottenham do have a good squad which would adapt to what to say Conte's tactics. So it's a very exciting time to see it. But I don't think you should jump in on anyone. Definitely not worth taking a hit for. But if you ask me honestly, who I have my eye on, I would definitely say it's got to be Serge Reguilon because Spurs have got decent set of fixtures coming up after. Actually, even this week they're playing Everton away, and
Yeah,
Everton haven't looked great. After that, they're placing like Leeds, Burnley, Norwich, and Newcastle. That's like
yeah,
a dream run. That's the kind of run you want your defenders to be facing.
yeah,
So definitely worth considering. Def- Son and Kane are obviously good options, but I'd want to get a little more of a sample piece of how they're going to play, how they're going to line up. But yeah, overall, looks like we have another serious top six or even a top four contender right now.
right. All right, all right. Um, so moving on to the next one, the other update is that Vladimir Sufal or Kufal, I'm not able to get the pronunciation right, but he is back to West Ham, and but he's not in the starting 11. Mind you, Johnson, who filled in for Sufal when he was injured, scored a goal last match. So it might be still a little while before Sufal is back in the starting 11. So please, so FPL managers who have Sufal, maybe not sell him, hold on to him for at least one more game week, see what the lineup is for West Ham this time. The next one, Mason Mount is still absent. Last game week, he scored a hat trick, and then last game week he wasn't even on the bench. He was I think sick. He had fallen ill that day morning. But surprisingly, even in the Champions League fixture last night, he still wasn't on the bench. So
He didn't
Ashwant,
travel with the squad.
yeah, he didn't even travel with the squad. So do you think Mount will start the next match or at least be on the bench the next match?
If
What do you
you
suggest?
still I
What do you suggest managers who have Mount should do? Should they hold on to him or should they just sell him? Because the second match is gonna
mm,
blank them.
no, I wouldn't go that far yet because he didn't play. He didn't blank. So you can't say he blanked without he didn't play. So I would definitely wait for Friday's press conference. I think we have an early deadline this week. We have a Friday night deadline.
Yep.
So wait for the press conference, see what Tuchel is saying. If
Mhm.
he's like, see, if Mount is fit, he rarely drops the bench. He
Right.
always starts.
Right.
So all those managers, and we're playing Burnley at home. So it's that kind of game where you need that kind of creative spark up front to create something. So Mount is definitely a hold for me. But if Tuchel doesn't give anything positive, then there are so many good options over there at Mouse's price range. So should
Yeah,
sell him before
exactly.
he starts
That's what
dropping.
exactly I
So
was saying. That even if we hold, it's a 7 million pound midfielder who's gonna blank for the second time. So how do you manage that? But yeah,
yeah,
that's what we suggest you can do with Mason Mount. Hold on to him for this game week. See what Tuchel has to say at least on Friday, and then see accordingly you can decide on a strategy. Moving forward, Konsa, the Aston Villa defender, is suspended because he got a red card in the last match, and a few problems for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer going into this match next game week is Rafael Varane is injured, so he will either have to go for two centre backs or three centre backs with Bailly at the back, and Pogba is suspended, so that's another blow for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in midfield. Now moving on, and this is the main part. This is going to be our signature part for every single video that we release before every game week. The under the radar transfers. We are not going to be talking about the players that everyone is talking about. We are going to go for players who no one is talking about, and we are going to tell you why we think they are good picks and what you should, when you should buy them, and what you should be expecting from them. So we start off with Yash. Yash, who is your under the radar transfer suggestion for Game Week 11?
So one of them definitely has to be Trossard for me. For sure. Why? Because I think Brighton have looked bright through the season, right? Especially defensively and offensively. They've picked up in the last few game weeks, right? 2-2 at Liverpool is at Anfield is not so easy to do, right? And
Yeah,
he was vital in every attack or every goal that Brighton have scored until now. And he is their best forward player or player on the second half of the field. So he definitely is bright. He definitely is looking good, and he's definitely a good pick to have, especially differential pick to have. So I don't think
yeah,
there's anything better than having a player like Trossard with a fixture, a run of fixtures that are quite easy comparatively to other teams right now.
yep, absolutely. All right, so Trossard it is from Yash.
Yeah.
Ashwant, what about you? Who is your under the radar transfer suggestion?
if you I would still stick to what I was saying earlier. I would say Sadio Mane would be my go-to man. I mean, Sadio Mane is that kind of a player. Okay, the price is obviously a big downside. He's almost just a million shorter than the legendary Mo Salah. But the point being said, he scored close to 65 to 70 points this season already, and that is more or less what you can expect from a consistent player who's put in those kind of minutes and those kind of numbers. Apart from being benched against recently against United, where Jota started in place of him, he's almost started in every game and definitely has had
Yeah,
a goal or an assist.
yeah,
So he's got those consistent numbers, and he looks better than most of the other assets that are in that price range. Kane not yet kicking form. Lukaku injured and out. Ronaldo again having a bad patchy spell, but sure he could still score. So and Vardy too. So you have all these players who are like up and down, but when you know that there's only one team that is the best attacking unit out there in the league right now, why don't you double up on them? It's not a very popular thing because people go for your Trent and people go for your Son and all of those guys. But Mane is someone. If he were in any other Premier League team, you would actually see him taken as much as Salah.
yeah,
It's only because he doesn't have the penalty duties which Salah has got. Apart from that, they've got equal opportunity to score in that Liverpool side.
yeah,
So I think that is something people they read too much into it. So he's definitely gone under the radar in my opinion.
yeah. All right, all right. All right, so it is Trossard for Yash and Sadio Mane from Ashwant. And my under the radar transfer suggestion, well, I'm still sticking with Sergio Reguilon, but I mean Ashwant's already covered that bit. There's really nothing more for me to say. It is Conte coming in. Conte loves attacking fullbacks. He had Victor Moses at Chelsea. He had Hakimi and Ashley Young
Atman, I have a
at
question.
Inter
I
Milan.
have a question for you, Atman. When you pick a
Yeah.
first player, right? I mean, where do you see Sergio Reguilon getting points, offensively or defensively?
Judging by the fact that they have Dyer as a centre back, I would say offensively more.
But you mean I'm sure that you mean someone like giving assists and putting those crosses in, right? Is what you're
Yeah.
expecting. But I
Yeah.
have a point here and I have a case here to make is that Spurs offensively have looked horrible this season, especially because of the
Yeah.
whole situation with Harry Kane. In my opinion, I think it's the biggest mistake that they didn't sell him to whoever they could. Right? The
Yeah.
club is not happy with him. He's not happy with the club. I don't think that's
Yeah.
going to make a big difference with Conte coming in either. I think he just doesn't like where he is still. He's not voicing it out because he has no option. Also, Harry Kane is that kind of a player who can score goals and also have assists, and we've seen that in the past few seasons, right? And it can't be that suddenly one season he just dropped form. So
Yeah.
I don't really suggest that anybody picks on any kind of
No,
Spurs player.
actually, Yash, it's interesting that you brought this up. I would actually not agree with what you're saying because yes, Spurs have been horrendous. I mean,
Yeah,
if there were one team that didn't deserve to be where they are on the table is Spurs. I think they're bottom half because even their first 5 wins of the season were 1-1 dry games where they breathe through. The only impressive thing they've done all season is hold on to a 1-0 win against Man
that's
City.
City. Yeah,
So that was also a City team that didn't have their fully fit
right.
squad and all of that. So yes, Spurs have been horrendous. But if you look at, we're not even looking at Spurs right now. We're looking at Conte. So you look at him as a manager. He took ninth place Chelsea. I'm sure they were worse than how Spurs are right now. They were ninth place Chelsea with the Mourinho, breakup and all of those things were there. So he took a ninth place Chelsea to the title. He
Yeah.
took a Inter side that hadn't won in 12 years to the title. He
Yep.
took Juventus when they were sixth to the title. So he's a man manager. He's a coach. He's not a typical manager who's putting out lineups and giving press conferences. He goes to players. He talks to them. He motivates them.
Yeah.
So he gets the very best out of players. So I definitely think this first team is going to be pumped. And this is the first time we're going to see a passionate Tottenham side going to play after Pochettino left. Because Conte is everything that you would want. I would have never taken Spurs seriously if it weren't for this appointment.
I was
So
going to
I
conclude.
think it is.
I was going to conclude my point with something similar, Ashwant. It was going to be that it's either going to be a big hit or a big miss, according to me. It's
Yeah.
not going to be in the
It's a
middle.
50-50.
I
Yeah,
don't think
I'm sticking my neck out. I think it's going to be a hit.
uh, I don't think it's going to be a top four or a European finish. I think it's still going to be a Conference League finish because I think there are teams that deserve it and are doing well enough to be able to stay in those European League spots. And I think it's not about only a manager at this point in time, right? If it was like, for example, United, if it was only about the manager, we'd be fighting a relegation battle. But for now, if it was
Hmm.
about our manager,
Yeah.
luckily we have the squad that is able to, even not play well but get those goals. So I don't think
Yeah.
that's a relatable example, but that exactly what I mean is that it can be a big hit or a miss. So let's just see how it goes.
Yeah. All right. All right. Now, this is a little off the script because a friend of mine messaged me about this in the last minute. Uh, West Ham players. West Ham have a really tough fixture list coming up. They face Liverpool, they face Chelsea. I think they also face Man City. So they're gonna have a really tough time scoring goals, and they might even concede not might they will concede a lot of goals. So what do you do with West Ham assets, especially Mikel Antonio, who's owned by a vast majority of FPL managers? Ashwin, this question is to you. What should your strategy be with West Ham assets, especially Antonio?
Okay, so if you still have Ben Rama or any of the West Ham defenders, I would probably sell because West Ham have actually, I think they're one of the most informed sides. And I know they're going to face the tough teams now, but we just saw them hit 4 goals in a very, very tough place to go to, Goodison Park. You don't even see the top teams come there and score 4 goals for fun.
Yeah,
So they have goals in them. And if you really want to, buy anyone from West Ham at this point, I wouldn't suggest anyone other than Bowen. Jared Bowen has been. I don't know how he's not owned more. I don't know why he's not getting the attention he deserves. He's like the Jamie Vardy of midfielders, and he's like
mm,
6.3, 6.4. He's very, very well priced, and I think he's taken up Ben Rama's the mantle of being the chief creator and the chief runner behind the lines. So Bowen is the only asset that I would consider. In terms of Antonio, it's tougher. It's really tough call. It's a classic form versus fixture question here. So you have a man who's in form against the fixtures that don't really seem like
is
he's
he
going to
though?
score.
Because in the last three matches, he's had only one goal scoring opportunity.
No, exactly. So if you had watched the game that he played against Everton, he could have easily had 2 assists. So the
Right.
thing is, as a non-Antonio owner, it will be very. I'm an Antonio owner, and I know that he's a solid top 6 Premier League striker. He knows
Yeah.
exactly what he's gonna do, when he's gonna make the run, and he's got the finish in him. So on his day, he can haul, which we saw in the first part of the season very well. And he's still
Yeah.
leading in most of the underlying statistics: number of shots, number of penalty area touches, all of those things pretty decent. So if you're looking at selling Antonio, and I'm assuming don't take a hit because now's not the time you take hits. There are not many striker options. I mean, the
Yeah.
only guy I would consider is Ivan Toney, but Brentford looked a little bit off the pace over the last two,
Nah,
three
I
game
wouldn't.
weeks.
Yeah, as a Tony owner, I wouldn't say I've been Tony.
I,
I've been racking my head over how he's performing.
I would agree with
No,
Ashwin.
I would say I would.
I would definitely agree with Ashwin on all the points with Antonio, right? I'm an Antonio owner too. I mean, I have sold him once and I've got him back also once. And he's just been unfortunate in FPL according to me this season, right? He's been the joint top top shots taken in from the box. He's been the highest number of chances created in Premier League till now. 10 chances created, I think. Nobody has
Yeah.
created so many chances. So I think holding on to him works well. But if somebody is looking to take him out, I I agree again with Ashwan that there are no striker options in that price range. But one striker that probably could help is Jimenez. He's picked up form recently, and he's probably gonna, his price is gonna rise constantly. I think, just like how Ben Chilwell's price is just rising week on week. I think his price is also gonna rise week on week. But
Yeah.
Oh, that's my biggest regret. I jumped in on James and Chilwell. I still haven't. I mean, without either of them, I've come this far. I'm like, it's just like it was right there. I should have made the move. I don't know.
I
So
think
hats off to
I'm in
all
the
those guys who own James and Chilwell.
I think
Should
I'm
have
in
done
the
it
top
before
10
now.
only because of Chilwell. I'm in the top 10 only because of Chilwell. Every game week that he's got points, I've had him. I don't know why, but I just knew that this is the game week that he's going to switch them. So it was just an instinct that worked.
Trust your
Yeah.
instincts.
Well,
Trust your instincts. Yes. Though yes, one more under the radar transfer since we're talking about Antonio replacements. Adam Armstrong had a brilliant game last game week. Had created chances all by himself, literally to score. Was pretty unlucky to not have scored, but nonetheless he did get an assist. And I'm not sure how easy Southampton's fixtures are, but the way they are playing, I don't think
they
Armstrong
have
should
they
have a
have
huge problem
they
finding
have
a goal.
decent fixtures coming up. Actually, they have decent fixtures coming up. I recently looked into it, but I would still see. I probably not a lot of people would agree with me, but I still think Tony is the guy to go for
Hmm.
because I know Brentford have had a blip, but Brentford have the most promise. Game week 11, Norwich. Do I need to sell it to you anymore? They're
Yeah,
facing Norwich at home. That is the kind
exactly.
of game where you need Tony for sure. I
Yeah,
wouldn't even mind vice captaining him. It's to that extent. It's fine. It's a purely fixture based decision that is. And in
yeah,
terms of Southampton, I would say I don't think even see. I'm sure Adam Armstrong did play well that day, but he got to start only because of a certain young Armando Broa who was injured.
yeah.
He had a run. I mean, I think Southampton looked better with him in the squad.
Yeah.
And now that he's back, and I think we have to wait for the Friday
Not
conference again from
really.
Rob.
I'll have to
He,
continue on that. Before Broha was in, and when Adams and Armstrong were playing at the head of the attack, they had better underlying numbers. Because I was following
he
them. I've always been a fan of Southampton's attack since last season when I used to always bring in Che Adams every now and
yeah,
then. Every
but
2 weeks I bring him in.
yeah, but Armstrong didn't score for 7 weeks in a row after he scored on the opening game week, which is when Ralph
Yeah,
finally lost his patience and brought Broa in. Broa, the
yeah,
first game itself, he hit the post, I think, and the second game he scored.
yeah,
So he had an instant impact. So and then the next game was against Chelsea, which he's ineligible to play. After
yeah.
that, he got injured, so he didn't play that game either. So Armstrong got another chance.
Right.
But I think when both of them are fit, Ralph actually likes Broa. So it's going to be very interesting to see who starts this weekend if Broa is fit because
Right.
both are fit and both are going to contribute.
When
Right.
So it might be both. I don't think both will start together. It's going to be Adams with one of the two
when we talk about
or
Southampton,
Correct.
we
Redmond.
have to give a shout out to Tino Livramento. Just to put it out there, we have to give a shout out.
Bro, that
What a
guy,
gift from heaven! What a
Legend,
gift!
legend. Had him since game week 1, and he's probably the only player I haven't thought about selling out. Also, just legend.
yeah,
And
exactly.
your team value must have risen beautifully. I mean, from 4 point, I think he's 4.5 now. He's already
Yeah,
come up half a million.
he was half a million. He's half a million up in 10 game weeks. He's half a million up. 20% selected from 0.03% selected. So I think he's just killing it.
People before last week, people were asking me why did Chelsea let go of Livramento. I mean, that 21 points out from Reece James might explain something.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
it is just because he had to get the play time and all of that.
yeah.
And yeah, we sold him with a 50 million buyback clause. So I guess that's fine.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So to conclude quickly, for the upcoming game week 11, it is actually a little bit tricky for this. Who are your captaincy picks? It's actually a little tight this game week, but who are your captaincy picks?
Ashwat,
You
you have
mean vice
we
captaincy?
have to say somebody other
Yeah,
than Mo
kind.
Salah. We have to say somebody other than Mo Salah.
Yeah, you have to say, oh, yes, sorry, I forgot to put that disclaimer. You have to say somebody other than Mo Salah. But to be
Which is why I
honest,
said
Mo Salah is
vice
against
captain.
West Ham. So it's not going to be all that easy.
He tore through a Manchester City defense that had considered 2 goals all season and made them look like
Right.
school kids.
Even
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I'm not
that's
giving
also.
West Ham any credit.
even if you
Yeah,
put
he's
the
perma
best
captain.
four, even if you put the best four defenders, I'm going to captain Mo Salah. Whatever happens.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's in
he
the
is in
form of
some
his
stiff
life.
form. Yeah. But
Yeah,
if somebody like me wants to go for a differential strategy, who would you go
yeah,
for?
who needs to go from 19 to 9? Yeah,
Exactly.
understandable.
Yeah, precisely. You didn't need to slide that in, but okay.
um,
So I have one, and this is a big gamble, and this is a gamble that I played, but it didn't pay off well. But I think it's going to pay off well soon, and that's going to be Kai Havertz for me.
oh my God, yeah, you seem to like him more than I do.
No, that was so sad. 7 goals scored and Havertz still blanked. Oh my god.
He didn't get an assist also in that game, and I captained him in that game. He didn't even get an assist. So it's just
I
it's
Yeah,
saw
should have gone to start. He would have been number one for a while if
for
it
sure.
was. And that was the last time we want Mo Salah coming and scoring hat trick plus assist at Old Trafford. I mean the
Yeah,
bravery.
because I genuinely
exactly. But
thought that Mo Salah against United is usually just a goal, right? And I thought, with Chelsea's attack and Kai Havertz is that, kind of a striker that gets involved in every play from midfield to the goal, right? So it's like about
See, that's the thing. I'll just tell you something I've noticed about Havertz.
yeah,
You are right. He plays brilliant. He has the capacity to arrive at that place and pop up and score. Yes, he's got that. But without Lukaku, without Werner, we knew he's going to start up front.
exactly.
So
yeah,
he's becoming the hold-up guy. He's becoming the guy who's giving the third pass before the goal
No,
gets
but
there.
I thought what I
The
thought
guy
of
who's
him as
assisting the assister.
what I thought of him as is what they did with him last season, right? Is how they used him last season. So that's what I thought. I
Yeah, it
expected.
was always Werner starting up front and
Yeah,
Havertz cutting in from the right. So
so
it was Havertz's best position is right wing.
right wing,
Right wing is
or
where
maybe
he
false
drifts
nine.
across the pitch.
I also feel a false
Ah,
nine
yeah,
suits
false nine,
him very
false nine.
well.
Yeah, either of it works. A proper striker traditional role doesn't suit him.
No, yeah.
He's gifted. He can
I
play with the
genuinely
ball
thought
up and down.
I genuinely thought he's going to be a false nine, but it didn't end up being like that. But I think that even
Right.
now he's going to be the man to reach. I said it last season that Werner and Havertz are going to be amazing this season, and Werner has improved somehow, and I think Havertz is on the road to recovery from last season. So I'm just hoping
yeah.
that's just a differential captain, right? I mean, we can never call if it's going to happen.
Nice, nice. Good shout.
I
Yeah,
think,
and we're playing Burnley. I
yeah,
mean, I hope
exactly.
he doesn't get crowded out again,
Yeah.
but it's an interesting call.
Okay.
Hmm.
What about
What was
you,
your
Ashwin? Differential captain.
I would go for I don't know why something just screams out to me Cristiano Ronaldo. I mean, no one's looking at him right now because everyone's going towards Salah. But Manchester Derby, Ronaldo, is it at Old Trafford?
yeah,
It's a role.
It just sounds like it's perfect.
I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Being a
Perfect
United fan, I
occasion.
wouldn't do it. Being a United fan,
I
I
mean,
But
against,
okay, that was a joke. That was a joke. I didn't mean that. It's not going to be Ronaldo.
yeah, don't cover up
I'd
now.
actually go with
Don't
no,
cover
no,
up
no, no.
just because we
I just
can't
want to
say.
see. I just wanted the reaction. No, 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 no. I'd actually go for Tony. I'm Tony. I'm going Tony.
Right.
Seriously,
Okay.
because I just have a thing for Norwich right now. Until they sack Daniel Farka, I know they're going to concede, and they've been pretty bad. And Thomas Frank is a gifted coach. He knows how to get that attacking thing out of
Yeah.
Brentford. So I'm gonna if I were to take a punt, I'd go on Tony.
Right. Okay. All right. Uh, my differential captain. I don't have one. I would have gone for Mount, but doesn't seem like he's gonna play. So I would again probably one really something that just feels out there. I'm gonna give two shouts here. One is this guy. What's his name? Just let me check once. There is one match which screams a little bit of at least 2 or 3 goals, which is Palace versus Wolves. It's two bad defenses going up against each other, but at the same time, two teams that have good attacks and who have forwards which are who in good form. And I'm kind of rooting for Palace to take out Wolves. I'm kind of rooting for Palace to go for at least 2 goals. And if Palace are going for 2 goals, I think it's gonna be Gallagher. I would say it's a huge risk, but the form that he's been in, I think he can be involved in both the goals that Palace score against Wolves. So yeah,
See, just so that you know, this is the 19th place guy talking.
I was just going to
Gallagher
say the
captain.
same thing. The 19th place guy giving a differential captain as Gallagher. You have him in your squad, it's enough, but captaining him is just not the right thing to do. Just everybody who's
It's
listening.
no, he made fun of me for captaining Ronaldo, but it's okay to captain Gallagher, guys. It's totally fine.
I'm telling you, see, I was so set with my captaincy pick for Game Week 11. I was gonna go for Mount, and then Mount just hasn't showed up at all in the last 2 matches. So
Wait, let me
now I'm
just
in a
get
big
this straight.
dilemma.
The only reason you're not captaining Salah is because you're chasing the hall.
Yeah, the only
You
reason I'm
want
not
Salah to
captaining Salah
blast.
is because I know everybody's gonna captain Salah. That's why.
Okay, you
So
really need the jump.
yeah, I really, really do. Bro, look at my team. Antonio, Vardy, Gray, Tony, everybody blank last game. It literally,
To
Salah
be
was the
honest,
only
I
attacker who
actually
got
like
a
it. I'm not taking it this as a snide dig or something. I actually have been looking at your team for the last 3 to 4 weeks. And
Hmm.
Yash, to be honest, he has a good squad, okay? I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
he's only gone wrong with captaincy first here and there, and he got off to a bad start. But
Yeah, I
after
got
that,
a
he's been coming up at a decent pace.
That's the
Yeah.
best
Good
thing.
squad.
The two transfers that Ashwin said, Bowen and Mane, were there in my squad before I used my wild card.
You
And
did it way too soon.
I removed them immediately when I used my wildcard. They were the first 2 players to be removed when I used my wildcard because I was so frustrated with those 2.
I'm just looking at your squad, and I think there's nothing wrong in that squad. I think you have everybody that's needed. I mean, the only thing that I would suggest is don't have Foster in your squad. Um, that's one suggestion. I mean,
Yeah.
can take.
He's a £4 million goalkeeper who plays. That's the reason he's there.
Actually, the only thing that I'm looking at is that your points are below average also in the last game week. So I don't think you should give any
Yeah.
suggestions in this round.
Can you? Did I ask you? There's a reason why I said that I don't even remember my points. I said it's 30s.
I mean, forget
God.
the team. Just look at the average points and just look at his points achieved. there's like